What up to the Rival Fantasy Sports community? I am your host, Neil Maligno. This is our Not So Obvious Locks of the Week episode for week 3. Just so you know, in case you haven't watched before, these are players who are not ranked inside the top 10 this week for me, but in my opinion, could easily finish there. They have the upside to finish in the top 10 at their position. I will keep these episodes quick. If you want longer or interactive content, subscribe to the channel, catch our weekly live episodes, including our Start Sit Advice live stream, which is every Sunday at noon, 1 hour before kickoff. This Sunday will actually be at 11:30, starting at 11:30, ending at 12:30. Just a little slight schedule change, but typically it'll be 12 noon to 1 p.m. Eastern every Sunday before the games kick off. Get your start sit questions in there, your trade advice, your waivers, whatever questions you have, we will answer them live on the show. You can also go ahead and drop your questions in the comments here of this video or any other video, and we'll always respond to those as well. Let's go ahead and jump straight into these. At quarterback, my quarterback not so obvious lock of the week for week 3 is a rookie, one that's actually facing a pretty good defense as well. So why the hell do I like CJ Stroud so much then? Stroud has already become more comfortable in the offense, and most of their games, he's going to have to keep scoring for them to win. Nico Collins and Tank Dell are both legit talents. Stroud is finding them, having success with them, making plays and touchdowns with them, so that's a great sign. I would also love to see Stroud run the ball more. It would, of course, raise his floor, raise his ceiling as well at the same time. I don't think the Texans win this game in week 3, but I do believe that Stroud will put up enough fantasy points to give you top 10 potential upside and just prove to the fantasy community out there that he deserves more respect ASAP. At running back, Isaiah Pacheco hasn't won you any weeks yet. He has not gone off in fantasy points like we had hoped, but we're only in week 3 right now, and honestly, he's been a touchdown away from turning blah weeks into hurrah weeks. Isaiah is playing one of the NFL's worst defenses, the Chicago Bears, so this is a perfect game for him to find the end zone. When defenses have to worry about Mahomes' magic all damn game, it makes Pacheco's job easier. And if the Chiefs do get a big jump on the Bears, which I feel like they will this game, Pacheco will be the perfect weapon to slow the game down so the Bears can't counter. So again, Isaiah Pacheco, week 3, not so obvious lock of the week at running back. Move over to wide receiver. In week 3, the not so obvious lock of the week is an electric playmaking rookie who currently sits in the top 27 at wide receiver in fantasy points scored. And now he gets to face an atrocious Colts secondary. That wide receiver is Ravens rookie Zay Flowers. If you're subscribed to the channel, then you already know I love the players who don't necessarily need a ton of targets or a ton of carries, but they can still make big things happen. Zay fits into that mold perfectly. He's a legit threat to turn any play into a touchdown against a defense that has been absolutely torched this season. Zay is about to eat in week 3. Moving over to tight end, finally, when it comes to the tight ends in fantasy, you guys know if you don't have one of the top guys, you should pretty much be streaming on a week-to-week basis. My not-so-obvious lock of the week 3 at tight end is Cowboys' Jake Ferguson. He's not flashy, I get it, but when you lead the league in red zone targets, that means your quarterback trusts you when you're in the game. This week, the Cowboys face off versus the Cardinals, and honestly, I'm going to spare you the defensive stats. Let's just say, get Ferguson in your lineup. That's it for the not so obvious locks of week 3. Now, if you want more fantasy football advice, which I'm sure you do, Rival Fantasy Sports, you can go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube right now. You'll get new content, the live shows, again, including our weekly show, Start Sit Advice show every Sunday at noon EST. Prefer audio only, that's fine as well. You can subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And of course, follow us on social media, get the latest app updates, promos, and up-to-the-minute news and sports on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. It's all at Rival Fantasy. And if you're thinking, Neil, what app updates are you talking about? Rival Fantasy is an app. You can go to rivalfantasy.com. You can download it on your phone, Rival Fantasy Sports. You can play Rival Fantasy challenges, bingo, season long. We have it all in one spot. If you're a true fantasy football head or fantasy sports head in general, because we're going to be offering MLB, NBA, it's all coming down the line in the future. If you're into fantasy sports at a high level, if you want new ways to have fun while you're watching the games on TV, or if you're season long, you're having a bad week, but you still want other ways to win, other ways to have fun, go to Rival Fantasy Sports right now. There's a link in the description that'll get you a deposit match up to $200 plus a $25 free voucher. Let them know I sent you. Again, this is the Rival Fantasy Sports Not So Obvious Locks of Week 3. I am Neil Maligno, and I'm out.